What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Fins Up Network. It's Ben Morgan. We got some Miami Dolphins stock up, stock downs to get to today as we get set for this week's game against the Buffalo Bills. But you also get a different version of Ben today. You get glasses version of Ben. I don't know what's going on with my left eye, but the only thing that I can chalk up to it right now, I can put my contacts in. They're just not super comfortable. So I'm rolling with the glasses. The only thing I can chalk it up to is that I've been watching too much Dolphins football, and the performance has just been so ugly. Back-to-back losses. My eyes just can't take it anymore. So, hey, Miami Dolphins, this is my plea. Get right for yourself. Get right for your record. Get right for that playoff push. And get right for my eyes. They can't take it anymore. Let's get back to our winning ways. But before I jump into my stock up, stock downs, I want to hear from you. Drop your stock up, stock down candidates in the comments. And then also, this week's a little funky. Obviously, we play Saturday night. If you have any questions on the final preview and prediction video, go ahead and drop those in the comments of this video. Otherwise, tomorrow's video as well, the top keys to victory, go ahead and drop them in tomorrow's video as well, and we'll get to as many of those as possible. But it's stock up, stock down day right now, Dolphins fans. Let's start with a good one. Stock up, Jaelan Phillips. Now, look what he had against the Chargers here. 6 tackles, 1 sack, 2 tackles for a loss. And obviously, everyone knows about the should-be sack. I talked about it in the recap video of that game. Just briefly, everything was textbook. He was coming off that edge so hard, leading up to that, just calculated that, hey, I'm doing the spin move on this one. It was perfect, good form, sack, and then here comes that phantom flag. So robs us of field position, robs us of time, robs Jaelan Phillips of a sack. End of the day, can't chalk it up as the only thing that cost us that game. Just kind of sucks for him more than anything. But he was on fire. That homecoming game for him, he was on fire. He scored nearly 90 Pro Football Focus grade from that game, credited with 7 pressures. And I haven't talked about this enough because when we acquired Bradley Chubb, what do we say that was going to do? It's going to unleash Jaelan Phillips. You can't double both edge guys. You can't chip both edge guys on every single player. So if you're doubling Bradley Chubb, who's the beneficiary? It's Jaelan Phillips, and he has been showing it recently. Dude is playing with high effort, high motor. He's getting to the quarterback. He's sacking the quarterback. In my opinion, the best is yet to come for Jaelan Phillips, and the best is yet to come for this pass rushing duo, Phillips and Bradley Chubb. And we got a hell of a test this week in Buffalo. We'll talk more about that. But as of right now, stock up Jaelan Phillips. Let's bring her down here. Stock down in-game adjustments. And yes, I'm talking about the offense because what do? We just slammed our heads into the wall time and time and time again in that game against the Chargers. Now, what's the problem here? Who's on deck? The Bills. They're really good against the run. They're really good against the pass. And what do we got to add to that mix? Snow. A winter game in December. Windy, snowy, cold. Terrible mix to run into. But guess what? It's the NFL. We got to make adjustments. It just happens to be so that the Bills aren't the perfect get-right game. But here we are. We can't dictate the schedule. We got to make an adjustment at some point. So this is going to be a huge test for Mike McDaniel for this offense because look what we did against the Chargers. 10 completions, less than 150 passing yards from one of the league's top passing offenses. It's not like we have this run game that we can fall back on. Hasn't been there. It's been there in spurts this season, a couple of games here and there. But, man, we are relying on that pass game. And if it's not there, we got to make adjustments. Like I said, we just kept trying to go to the middle of the field, trying to dictate to the defense what we're going to do rather than make any sort of adjustments on the fly. So what are the adjustments? Talked about it on the recap video. You got to do some out routes. You got to do some shorter out routes. Maybe get Mike Gesicki involved. What, he had 3 targets in the last 3 games? Get some dump offs to Gesicki. Get some stuff on the outs to Gesicki. Get some dump offs to the running backs. Short passes, some screens, get the wide receivers coming in motion, maybe some little pop passes, some screen passes to them. What did the Chargers do to us? They lulled us to sleep with a lot of short stuff, and then boom, you hit your shot play deep to Mike Williams. You open the middle of the field back up. You open shot plays back up. But here's the issue. The issue is our opponent, once again, when you're playing the Bills. The Bills do a great job of playing back and not letting anything go deep, which if we now improvise and try to do a bunch of short stuff, well, here's where the weather comes into a factor. If it's snowy, if it's windy, if it's cold, you're already not going to have as many opportunities to throw deep against this team. So they're already going to be playing up. They're going to be ready for these shorter passes. So Mike McDaniel, like I said, him and this offense, they have got their work cut out for them this year, or this week, I should say. But here's the deal. They're the ones that are getting paid to do this. I've just got a couple of ideas. They need to go out. They need to execute. And Mike McDaniel said, like, our offense, what we were developing back in August, back this offseason, we've got the in-house adjustments that we can make. So now we're going to see, is he just talking? Or is this something that we can actually improvise and move forward from? Because the last 2 weeks, we have not seen it. So stock down in-game adjustments with a huge opportunity to correct it this week. Let's bring it back up. Stock up, run defense. Because, man, for how much we just dog this defense, it is ridiculous what we are doing against opponents' running backs right now. And you know who it's led by. Christian Wilkins. Dude is playing out of his mind. The penetration he's getting at the snap of plays, the stops at behind the line of scrimmage, the fact that he's taking on blocks and helping out other guys on this defense, he has been all-world, Pro Bowl, all-pro, whatever you want to get him, he's going to get paid. Give him his money as well. The dude has been monster. We held the Chargers to 23 carries for 82 yards, which is 3.6 yards per carry. And if memory serves me right, one of their better runs, I think it went for like 10 yards, was a wildcat play. So they kind of had to go to the bag of tricks to even really get something going with the run game. Well, here's the problem with that, though. What did we allow to Justin Herbert? 39 of 51 for 350 yards. So if you look at a lot of his completions, that's not a huge yards per attempt, yards per completion. A lot of his short passes were essentially extensions of the run game. So that's what we're seeing teams. We're seeing teams adjust. They can't run against us. Well, they're using these short passes. They're doing the things that we need to see Mike McDaniel and this offense start doing in here. Add to that the problem, the opponent, the Bills. They'll run the ball, 14th in rushing attempts, but you know it. It's our nightmare scenario because they do a lot of running of the ball with quarterback, and that's been our Achilles heel when it comes to an actual run defense. Josh Allen has 99 rushing attempts. Devin Singletary, their lead running back, has 145. The gap really isn't even all that far. So it's not a bunch of designed handoffs to running backs. It's Josh Allen with designed runs and improvising runs, which we have struggled with. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Justin Fields. It's been our Achilles heel. So we'll talk more about that throughout the week. But right now, in regards to straight up run defense, stock up with an opportunity to get right against scrambling quarterbacks this week as well. So I'm going to go stock down Josh Boyer. And I said it on the preview video that I think, or I should say my recap video from Dolphins Chargers, that I think our defensive issues, it's not one thing. It's a mix of things. It's the scheme, it's the execution, it's the injury, it's the fact that our offense has been not sustaining drives and our defense is so tired. So it's not all on Josh Boyer. But after last week, I'm going to give Josh Boyer a stock down because of the repeat mistakes that we're continuing to make. And I think you know where I'm going with this. We're dropping everyone to the goal line on 3rd and goal, essentially letting this little pop pass to Austin Eckler take you down to the 1 yard line, and then you get a touchdown. Unacceptable. We can't be doing that. You should know better than that. But here's the one that kills me. The zero blitz without the outright commitment to the zero blitz. If you're going to go zero blitz, you're putting your cornerbacks, you're putting your guys on receivers on an island, and you're hoping that your pass rush gets to them, and you've got to try to beat you deep. We're not seeing that from our zero blitz. We're continuing in some situations, 3rd and short situations for an unknown reason. Our cornerbacks are lining 7-8 yards off these wide receivers. So it's making it simple for the quarterbacks to just throw a quick 7-yard out route because our cornerbacks aren't jamming. They're not pressing guys at the line. So you're basically giving the quarterback just a quick read and he's making it, and it's continuing to kill us. If you're going to do the zero blitz, you got to commit to the zero blitz and you live and die by it. If someone beats you over the top, you tried. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, if you're going to zero blitz, you have to commit to it. You can't just half-ass it because then you're just going to get killed for 7 to 8 yards at a time. Now, here's the deal. Where it comes to Josh Boyer this week, can he scheme up a game plan that stops Josh Allen from scrambling? If he does this, in the same process of that, can you contain Stephon Diggs, who has been a nightmare for defenses pretty much throughout the entire time that he's been in Buffalo? These aren't easy tasks. This is not going to be easy for Josh Boyer. It's not one thing. The Bills are 10-3 for a reason. They're a Super Bowl favorite for a reason. But you know what? If we're going to prove that we're not frauds, because I'm seeing a lot of that on social media right now. Oh, the Dolphins are beating up on these bad teams. You go ahead, you face them against a playoff worthy team, the Chargers, the 49ers, and they fall flat. If we're going to prove that we're not frauds, it's another prove it week. This is a huge prove it week for McDaniel, for Josh Boyer, for this team in general. Those are my main ones. I got a couple of honorable mentions. Christian Wilkins. I've already talked enough about him. He's also another stock up. But I want to give a quick shout out, stock up. I do it every damn week, it seems like at this point. But a special one for Tyreek Hill, setting the single season receiving yardage record in what was it, 13 games, and a first time being with the team, and a first time head coach, a first time play caller. Exceeded expectations. And I know we've been in a little bit of a funk losing the last 2 games. Continue to keep this guy in that conversation for NFL Offensive Player of the Year. I think the MVP thing is probably out of our hands for any of our guys at this point in time. But NFL Offensive Player of the Year, Tyreek Hill has got to remain in that conversation. So I got to continue to give him a stock up. But that's what I got for my stock up, stock down. I want to hear from you as well. So go ahead, drop those in the comments. And like I said, for the last preview prediction video of the week, if you have any questions you'd like answered on that, go ahead and drop those in the comments as well. Like I said, let's get back to our winning ways. Let's make it not hurt our eyes to watch. Let me get back to wearing contacts. Let's get a damn win, Dolphins fans. And until next time, Fins